He says he wants the commitment I want. Is he lying? I'm going to give you some tips and really some tricks from experts in discovering lies from trial lawyer Jefferson Fisher that are really great. Some real practical knowledge about detecting untruths. I hate the word lying. Not many people outright lie to hurt, scheme, or obscure the truth from others. There certainly are gradations of white lies to not so white lies that are hurtful. In relationships, they certainly can be hurtful. And we want you to be able to detect not so much that we're calling him a liar, but that if he's trying to please you and not ready to commit, you need to kind of know where you are with things if that's what you are looking for. I'm going to give you some of those tips. Make yourself known, say hi in the comments so I know you are here, and we're going to get to it. If you are new to me here and you're just running across my videos for the first time, who am I to talk about this? I'm Coach Paula Grooms, a dating and relationship coach for women, licensed social worker, and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. All right, so I want to play this for you. I like this guy a lot. Boy, is his presence calming, and I bet he's a great trial lawyer. I would want him to represent me if ever I was in trouble. That is for sure. And his name is Jefferson Fisher. If you don't know him, he is a trial attorney and he detects lying in people for a living. So if you want to figure out and know the little tips to figure out if there's some not so truthful things going on, he is someone to follow for a lot of good information about communication. That's what it's all about with our men. So I'm going to play this for you here, and you can hear for yourself the few little tips here that he goes through, and then we are going to talk about it. So let me play this here for you from him. Let's take a look.
And I've also heard you say that when you're being disrespected, I mean, this was the first of the three points you said a second ago, is to create that silence again. Why does that matter? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so pauses, though they are the absence of words, they're not the absence of communication. Meaning there's a difference in pauses between somebody saying, I love you, and a really long pause before somebody says, I love you too. Or somebody, your girlfriend asks, where were you last night? And you take 1 second to respond instead of 7 seconds to respond. They each say different things. So pauses are wonderful at getting the other person and yourself to fill in blanks. And when you're dealing with people who are, let's say, toxic or ugly or just not being nice, they will fill in that silence for you. And it does two things. It allows you, with the breath and the pause, make sure you keep the analytical side, pushing the emotion down, you're not getting flooded. Next, it's also doing the same thing for them. When I add silence, I'm making you almost repeat your words back in your head. Often you've been in those arguments where somebody already apologizes for what they said without you having to say anything. You've seen it too on a text. Somebody says something ugly in a text and you don't respond for a few hours. Most often they will reply back, at least in my world, they say, like, I shouldn't have said that, or they'll try and reframe it, or they'll edit the text. Now you have the benefit of hindsight. When, oh, that didn't sound good. Or they'll twist their word again to fix it. So, like, for example, I see this a lot with liars, people who lie on the stand. And in litigation, you always have people lie, even in deposition. It's just part of it. You don't really get surprised by it. But silence is the number one killer of liars, because they have conversations in their head for you. So if you were going to tell me a lie, for example, and instead of me going, that's not true, it's like you like that. Okay, good. They're engaged. Now I can start to manipulate the narrative, and you'll tell a lie, and then it forces me to try and fix it. No, that's not true. Remember, you did this and you did this, and you're trying to get around them. That's exactly what the liar is wanting. The more engaged, the more conversation, the more believable it feels to you. So then you start to doubt yourself, like, oh, maybe they did. Silence, just destroys them. So if you were to tell me a lie and I waited 5 to 7 seconds and I repeated the question to you, or I repeated your answer. Let's say I know that you were at the store last night and you're trying.
So remember this, you get the man to repeat it, just what he said.
And to lie to me and say, no, I was home last night. And let's say I think you weren't up to no good at the store. And you go, just say, Jefferson, I was at the store last night.
I was at the store last night, 7-Eleven.
At the store last night at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to this conversation in a bit, right? So all of a sudden the liar's like, oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, oh, now you're thinking about it. Now you're thinking about
like,
it.
You know I was at the strip club.
Yeah. It's like, I know you weren't where you say. So if you can say, you add in time, like, I'll come back to this conversation. Or if I were to say something feels off, they don't like that. Liars don't like that at all.
Mm-hmm. That's also really good. Something feels off. That's just so simple to say and easy to remember. Something feels off. And then you go back to silence. And if he says something after that, repeat it. It's very simple, and you can kind of go in a circle and circle back. Now he's going to get to another very important thing to listen for in this next little bit.
Because they want you engaged. They want more conversation. So when you slow it down and you go, it's not even saying, I don't believe you. Don't say that. That's getting them, that's more engaged in conversation. But when you slow it down and get quieter of, I'm just thinking. Liars will start to have the conversation in their head with you. They'll start to say things like, what do you, what do you, let's put myself in your position. If you said you're at the store and I didn't really believe you, you'd be like, where do you think I was? Why would I be there? Like they start to try and get into your head so that they can fix it. They'll try to twist the narrative to place the pieces in a way of, they're not going to fill in every piece of the puzzle, the jigsaw puzzle, but just enough that hopefully you get the rest of the picture. But silence, pauses, that's where your real power is, because they can't do anything with it. And it shows that you're the one in control and they're the ones that are not.
And I guess if you're lying in that context, you want certainty that the other person believes you. So
yes.
The issue with the big pause you gave is, if I was at the strip club last night, I now don't have certainty that you believe what I'm saying. So I need to keep going until I can convince you that I was at, the 7-Eleven. So now I need to push back on you and say, well, what do you mean?
Exactly.
Why are you asking this?
Yeah. Exactly.
Why are you asking me this?
Yeah. You're wanting more. Give me a conversation. We need conversation. I need it now.
Because the uncertainty is not good to deal with.
No. They get in their head about it.
This is what makes silence so effective in these kinds of communication. And it also gives you time to think and time to regulate.
But it's that same concept we talked about of people who tell the truth, they have all the patience in the world. If you really were at the store and I was like, I need to think about this for a minute, you'd be like, okay. And, it wouldn't bother you because those that have told the truth, they have nothing to hide. If you need to think on it, something feels off. Okay, well, I'm here to talk about it, but that's where it was.
And you know that regardless if they think about it or regardless of whatever they do next, I know where I fucking was. Yeah. So you're only going to uncover evidence that I was at the 7-Eleven last night.
That's exactly right.
You're going to look at my bank statements. You're going to see I was at the 7-Eleven last night. So there's a certain confidence that comes with that where you don't need to prove yourself.
Yeah, it's a relief. It's a confidence of going, no, I know exactly where I am. But the people who don't tell the truth, if I had $1 for every time I've seen it, where I've asked somebody the question back, and they said, usually it's texting while they drive. I say, I never text when I drive. So ask me the question, were you texting while you were driving that day?
Were you texting while you were driving that day?
No, I never text. Never text when I drive. Now notice I said a big word. I said never. Never is an extreme. Extremes are a dead giveaway that they're usually not telling the truth. Everybody.
Yes, like he's going to say, everybody does something typically once in a while. So hyperbole like never or always are key takeaways that might not be telling the truth.
Buddy. Text when they drive at some point in time, even in your car. Never and always or never. It's always or never true. So that's a big one. Second of all, I answered really quickly. I didn't breathe and really think about it and try and actually show you that I was trying to remember in time, give you a really immediate response. So what you're going to do, we're going to replay it again. I'm going to say same exact thing. And I'm going to ask you to give me about 5 seconds of time. And then I want you to repeat what I said slower. Cool. So ask me if I was texting while I was driving that day.
Were you texting while you were driving that day?
No, never. I never text when I drive.
You never text when you drive?
So even that, I didn't even like that. Yeah. So what they'll do most often is they'll even go, well, I mean, sometimes I do, because now you just hinge on that word never. Yeah. So now they know, oh, that's a risk word. And they'll kind of come out of it and go, I mean, sometimes I do. I mean, maybe, but hardly ever. When that happens, well, you typically want to do is give them an out. Now they've put themselves into a corner, and now they're looking for an out. And a way to do that is go, if you were texting, it's okay.
So you see how great that is to figure out if there's something just a little bit off. And typically in relationship stuff, you don't necessarily have to go any further. You have to just say, I need to think on this. That's it. Why is it so powerful? Well, again, we as women, when we say it, it's making him wonder. And like Jefferson is alluding to here, it can make him come back with the truth on his own. The more you push towards it, the more defensive. So when we use these tactics of pausing, and in the beginning of this video, which I did not play, he talks about before you answer, if you do things like just breathe for 2 or 3 seconds. So someone asks a question, even if it's something very simplistic like, how are you today? He gives the example. So I'm asked, how are you today? I'm good. Yeah, really good. Really good day. As opposed to, how are you today? I'm pretty good. Thanks. I'm okay. And so we can also use this to know that knee-jerk answering can give someone the impression that A, we're not listening, or B, might be even obfuscating. So these are good tactics for us too to employ, but you can then start to recognize. And when a man is feeling on the fence about commitment, first of all, you're not going to ask him directly about it, but other conversations are going to clue you in on whether he's ready, willing, or able to commit. Now, again, if you haven't, and you're with someone and you really want to know where he is, a la being ready, willing, and able to commit to you, I recommend you take the consumer versus buyer relationship test and find out where he is on the scale. Is he an ultimate consumer? That's then really going to be hard. Is he a mixed messages man? That is further up the scale. Is he a prospective buyer? Or is he a bona fide buyer? This relationship test is vis-a-vis you, no one else. So it is really helpful to kind of scale him so that you know more. And what we do here, of course, is it's great to have these little tips and tools, but you also want to start to live in the knowing that if it's something you want, you can manifest it and have it. Again, like he said, you don't ever want to say, I don't believe you. I mean, for the most part, that's not going to be helpful. It makes someone defensive. Now, if it really goes down the road, depending upon how far, you may have to eventually say that, and then you let it hang. I simply can't believe this. I don't believe you. But I still think it's almost always better. Just something feels off. Let it hang. And then he will likely come back with the truth. So there's lots of indicators that you can look for about possible mistruths or unease, which a lot of times it's the uneasiness in the man's conversation that is leading you to know things are not maybe what you're wanting them to be or feeling like you would like them to be. We as women, one of the biggest tools in our arsenal, so to speak, is to let things hang, not be at the ready. Because why? It's very simple. You're making him wonder. If you don't know this gender gap of mine, really sear it in your brain. We women love through knowing. Men love through wondering. He must be wondering. And they can be in very small ways. And like that is an example of a very small, subtle way of wondering. You're just not answering right back. It makes him wonder. You do too. It makes you anxious and not feel good because you don't know right away. That's not how it transmutes for the man. Yin and yang, night and day, sun and rain. It works well for him. What do you feel about this? Is it helpful to know these things? I think the taking the breath before answering helps you to regulate. It sets the tone, and men are extremely attuned to tone and escalation of interaction, because in relationship stuff, their brain doesn't fire as rapidly in this way as ours does. And he can just get into a loop of saying the same thing, which will drive you to distraction. So if you just bring it down with the breathing and those statements of things like something feels off, or if you want to repair it, you can say, I'm looking for consensus here. I'm looking for us to come together on this. Not, I don't want to argue. That doesn't move the needle. It just doesn't. I'm looking for us to have consensus. I'm looking for us to come together on this. Men don't relate via verbalization. They relate via action. And if you don't know, if you would like to have a full coaching conversation with me, you can do that on Make Him Wonder, my podcast. They're full coaching conversations, real women, real life conversations. You come on anonymously. There are other ways to talk to me. You can join the 80/20 Wonder Club, which is the membership of the Make Him Wonder podcast. You get all the episodes there in their entirety, all 200 plus of my coaching conversations with women about everything, getting an ex back, sexual issues in a relationship, older women, younger men. I have categories of 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, divorced men, dating divorced, being a single mom and dating, all manner of stuff that we're dealing with. But by getting a 12-month membership, you can also be on here, like you've heard women ask me anonymously in a call here on Lives. The other ways to talk to me in a private consult. By doing a yearly membership at the 80/20 Wonder Club, otherwise it's monthly or a 6-month membership, you get a full coaching intensive experience with me where you experience what it's like to be in one of my programs talking to me weekly. So that's a possibility. There's so many ways. You just go to Michelle at coachpaulagrooms.com. She'll give you all the options and you could ask me, because one conversation can just change the course. When you get the objective opinion that you trust and you follow some of the steps, you can absolutely change the course of your relationship and create what it is that you desire. You absolutely can. You can know here if he's saying he wants commitment, but he's kicking the can down the road. Something is happening. It doesn't mean he's lying about wanting it with you. But if you know another premise in my book, that men are on top of time. When they say they want something, you may be putting a time frame on it, but the man is putting his manly time frame on it. For example, a man says, I'll text you, I'll call you. That can mean anywhere from 5 minutes to 5 days to 5 weeks to 5 months. But you're putting the I'll text you to mean something in your mind about it, what would be natural for you. But it doesn't mean anything in terms of the amount of time for the man. We've all experienced that. It doesn't mean he's lying in that moment. In that moment, he knows he wants to text you. He knows he wants to be in touch with you. But because men are on top of time, when he walks away from you, if it didn't have the import that it needed, he may forget about it. So women say, okay, well then I give him my social so that he sees me and reminds him of me. No. Why would I say no? I have very big boundaries on this, because giving a man your social that you just met, no good will come of it for many reasons, most of which it doesn't make him wonder. He can see you on there and get his fill. Just like if you are on the fence about adopting a puppy and that cute puppy is in front of you, but you're on the fence about it. If you go home and you get to see picture after picture and cute video, you get your fill. It doesn't inspire you to find out more. And that's kind of how you can think about it. So when a man wants to connect with you via your Insta when he first meets you, you say, I keep my Insta private. It's just for a few close friends. I'm happy to give you my number. If he doesn't want that and he doesn't follow up from that, he wasn't that interested. He just wants to look at your pretty puppy pictures, which are you. Hopefully that makes sense. So hopefully this is helpful for you to understand how these few tactics to regulate, to take things down a notch, take a breath, these few statements like something feels off, waiting. I would say that is another very, very big tool in the female arsenal. Wait. You have heard me say, and you need to sear this in your mind, when in doubt, wait him out. There is nothing stronger generally if you need a fallback on what to do. Sear that saying in your head. When in doubt, wait him out. You will get the truth of it, just like Jefferson alluded to. I hope this was helpful. If you would be so kind as to follow me here on YouTube. So with that, I think we got a lot here that you can chew on. You can always watch these back. Come back, comment. Anytime you comment on a video, a live, anything I post, I try my best, if it has to do with any content that we talk about here, to answer. There is stuff in the description here that you can look at to get answers as well. But if you would, I'm hoping to build this channel with your help so that more women can be on board and we can grow our community of wonderful Wonder Women. So by hitting that like button, or if you don't, even by hitting the thumbs down button, you help the algorithms. And that helps me get in front of others, and me staying and doing this hopefully continues to help you. That's what I'm all about. I thank you so much for being here. Glad to be here with you all. Love you all. Thank you again, and we'll see you in the next video.